Well, good morning, everyone. For today's conversation, I'm very glad to have with me the Dean of our School of Continuing Studies, Kelly Otter. Dean Otter, thank you for taking this time for our conversation. And for 6 years now, you've led our School of Continuing Studies. Could you talk a little bit about your vision for SCS and some of the work that you've been able to do in growing and expanding our SCS programs?
Well, thank you so much, Jack, for this opportunity to speak with you today and to be part of this series. So the vision for the school emerged through consideration of a number of things. Its history, its mission, its place within the university context, and the alignment of all of that with the current needs of adult learners, working professionals, and demand for talent from emerging and growing industries across sectors. So in SCS, we need to be attentive to the concrete lived experiences of our learners. We are eager to use technology to meet students' needs. We're committed to doing what's necessary to address the changing trends of the higher education landscape. And of course, we prioritize the integration of the Jesuit mission in all facets of our organization. And we're deeply committed to a management culture that takes seriously the formation of whole person leaders. So to do this, we must be structured in a way that allows us to be nimble, agile, and have a growth mindset. And to have a growth mindset, our structure needs to be interconnected and cross-functional. Our leadership team and all the functional areas of the school, the academic programs, the market research group, the marketing and enrollment management teams, the digital strategy team, all work closely to create and expand new programs. Everyone has to work across their functional areas, and they have to know something about the functions and responsibilities of their peers with whom they're collaborating. So it's an ecosystem, and the ecosystem is interconnected with the external environment, and that is workforces, job sectors, which are constantly evolving and demand new knowledge and skills. So our programs are designed around those competencies and learning outcomes that resonate with the contemporary needs for leaders across industries. So we reshape the structure of the school to cultivate the talent and skills needed to support all of the functions of the organization that can flexibly respond to the shifts in the global economy. And the structure and the growth mindset need to be aligned with the culture, which is agile and faculty-centric. We only had a few full-time faculty 6 years ago, and now we have 30. And we have 400 part-time faculty in any given term. And the faculty who oversee these programs are the thought leaders of the sectors their programs represent. They collaborate with our research team, and that teamwork is the engine for program innovation. So this is a scalable model with the support of an online infrastructure that we built, and which takes a multimodal approach to program development, which means every new degree program is both face-to-face and online. We created a team-based approach with the faculty as the nexus, the subject matter expert working with instructional designers, graphic designers, and the studio team. And that has yielded 17 degree programs that are offered online as well as in person. And we now have about 1,000 of our 3,000 students a year taking at least one online class each term, regardless of where they live. So we've been able, through this approach, to take about 2 new programs a year to the market for the last several years with a total of 21 master's degrees.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. For those who may not be as familiar, could you describe our SCS community? Can you speak to the range of opportunities available at SCS? What are some of your more recent initiatives and your emphasis on reaching different populations, such as our veterans community?
So our Jesuit and veteran communities at Georgetown love to remind us that St. Ignatius was an adult student and a wounded veteran. So it's fitting that the largest portion of our population is the working adult. But we actually serve people in the age range of 16 to 90. So in the summer, we offer a host of programs to high school students through institutes we do in partnership with our medical center, School of Foreign Service, and other programs across the university. And we also have an undergraduate degree completion program in liberal studies. Then we have graduate professional programs, which are really the largest part of the portfolio. And then finally, executive and custom education programs. So 18 of these programs are professional masters and executive masters. but we also have a strong footing in our liberal studies programs with our bachelor's, master's, and doctoral levels, which incorporates the humanities and social sciences and many faculty from the disciplines across the college and other schools. So we also work in other very important and worthwhile areas to offer certificates, such as supporting the Dog Tag Bakery, which is a business run by veterans for whom we provide a business certificate and teach them how to run a business. We also support the Jesuit Refugee Service through English language programs in our English Language Center to teach English to refugees in Amman, Jordan, people who are from places like Iraq, Sudan, and Syria, to help them improve their chances to find work and rebuild their lives. So we have dozens of projects like these as well.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Now, what has this moment been like for our SCS community? What are some of the ways that you've stayed connected and supporting one another during this very challenging moment we're all living through?
Well, from the Dean's office, we made sure to stay in constant communication with the community. We offered updates when we could. We stayed transparent about our plans, about all of the efforts across the university that we were all making to navigate these very unique circumstances. I sent out weekly videos and offered to speak with anyone who wanted to share concerns or feedback. And I've had some great conversations with students and alums because of this. And I have to say, these conversations have been generative and creative and mutually supportive. And I'm just so grateful for the cooperation and flexibility across the board since mid-March. Our students, our faculty, and staff have really demonstrated inspiring levels of creativity and enthusiasm given the challenges that we've been going through. And one very good thing that emerged, of which I'm very proud, is in the midst of racial strife and repeated incidents of police brutality, a group of SES and staff formed a committee called the Diversity, Equity, Belonging, and Inclusion Committee, known as DBEC. And so they started to hold listening sessions with anyone who wanted a forum in which to share circumstances, share experiences, and make suggestions for actions they'd like to see to support racial justice. We sent out a Google form for the entire community to share thoughts, perspectives, ideas, and we collected all of these and distilled them into themes, and we're working on building a strategy to implement them. We then sponsored racial justice forums for students and alums to convene. And all of this has led to a formalized committee to take on the work of really animating the values of racial justice and realizing the work that we want to implement to assure that our working and learning community is transparently, socially, and racially just. We have a diverse community in SCS. 40 to 50% of our students are women and men of color. And we have great diversity in our management and faculty cultures. So our work needs to focus on things like expanding professional development opportunities. And it needs to focus on things like our curriculum and looking at which perspectives from which cultures are represented in each program. And we need to do things like assure that we have universal awareness of the power of language in our classroom and across our culture. And we're considering how to leverage resources we have, such as the Diversity and Inclusion Certificate Program, which is a longstanding program in SES, and figuring out ways that we can engage our faculty and staff communities to elevate everyone's knowledge about the actions that we can take to assure that we have a socially and racially just organization.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, SES has been a leader in developing innovative programs in a virtual setting. Can you talk about how you've been able to use these existing strengths at SES in this moment when so many of us are engaged in virtual learning? What are some of the lessons or experiences that you could share with us?
So above, I spoke a bit about our growth mindset and the vertical growth of programs and our enrollments. But this moment really thrust us into thinking about growth in a completely different way, which you could think of as horizontal. So rather than increasing the volume, we needed to think about how to build capacity across the school and even across the institution as we collaborated with other units and schools in this effort to teach and work in a virtual setting. So we had to design new ways to scale. Like in a typical year, each full-time learning designer in our online development unit develops about 12 online courses each year. In general, it takes about 4 to 6 months to develop a new course. And each faculty spends no less than 100 hours on each course. So while the design team is focused on production, the faculty can stay focused on the subject matter. And many schools coach faculty on how to develop their own online courses, but we feel very strongly that our model is a good method to scale efficiently and to assure quality. So we found ourselves suddenly thrust into this moment where we needed to scale in a completely different way. We needed to move about 250 courses that were in a face-to-face modality to highly interactive remote modalities. So to do this, we assembled a master course shell with numerous components from our very best online courses. Then we created a train-the-trainer model to identify the best design models for each of the courses. And we drew on staff whose jobs had changed because of the remote working environment and taught them how to support the process of building tools for faculty in the learning management system. So by August 1st, we had 250 courses completed so the faculty could focus solely on teaching strategy and engaging students in the remote environment. So in terms of lessons learned, a few things stand out in my mind. In this remote environment, people want to be connected to each other more than ever. We started to have daily meetings with our full-time faculty and leads of the program teams and academic affairs, and they're still going strong. Everyone still wants to meet every day. And this has accelerated the speed of our ability to teach virtually, and it accelerated and deepened our community building. We also noticed that this moment refined how much we need to remain agile. Agility has to be part of our mindset. We can't get settled or too comfortable with our success, but constantly look to improve and refine what we do. And though not a new lesson, a reinforced lesson is that younger students really want this social learning environment. The emotional, social aspects of learning are just critical for younger students. Flexibility and technology are more important to more experienced adult learners. So the way we use the technology has to meet our students where they are and provide them what they need the most. And finally, again, not a new lesson, but a reinforced lesson, is that faculty really thrive in teams and they're eager to support each other. So we set up a model to facilitate a team approach. And this allowed everybody to grow in ways that they might not have had the opportunity to otherwise.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And thanks for taking this time to be with us today. And thank you for your great leadership of our School of Continuing Studies, SCS. In closing, is there one last word you'd like to leave with the members of our community?
Sure. I think that one thing I'd like to leave is that while we're using technology to substitute for the environment that we're accustomed to, we really need to consider how we can humanize the experiences of work and learning in new and thoughtful ways. So pay attention to listening more deeply and find ways to create space for good news or share concerns. Create space for levity and humor, and find collaboration and empathy more frequently. So to use our colleagues Jesuits term, contemplation and action, finding time to pause, to reflect, and come back to our work with renewed purpose. I'd like to invite people to consider in this moment, this is where our mission can make us more resilient.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly, for your reflections and for taking this time to be with all of us, and for all of your contributions on behalf of our community.
Thank you.
I look forward to being with all of you again soon. Take care of yourselves and take care of everyone around you, for every Hoya, everywhere.